No response. Or are you invisible? How many times have you ended a call, burdened by the question, "What did I do wrong?" The truth is, it's not about technique. It's the mindset behind every word, every glance, every silence, that defines the caliber of a great salesperson. You might master every closing technique and know how to handle objections flawlessly. But if, deep down, you feel insecure, thinking I need them more than they need me, the game is already tilted from the first moment. It is mindset, not materials, that forms the irreplaceable foundation of a top-tier salesperson. So what mindset allows the best to always lead and own every negotiation? Part 1. Thinking on equal footing with the customer. The failure of most salespeople lies not in the product, but in how they position themselves in the customer's eyes. When your mind assumes you're the one pleading for a sale, your body language, eye contact, and tone will betray you. Hesitation and inferiority seep into your every introduction. This unconsciously signals weakness that the buyer picks up on immediately. And once you view yourself as lower than the other party, you've surrendered control before the game begins. If you remain in that state, you'll quickly lose your voice. Buyers will treat you like a mere vendor, not a professional partner. They'll set the rules, delay responses, and ask more questions than they answer. As time goes on, you'll feel increasingly reactive and out of control. An unbalanced dynamic breeds doubt and clouds all your efforts to build credibility. Worst of all, you'll begin to doubt the value you bring, throwing every next step off course. The mindset you need is one of equal standing, even if the person across from you is a high-level executive or a major business owner. The core idea: both are humans, each with goals. One seeks the right advice, the other can offer it. The way you enter the room, start the call, or write an email, all should convey I am not beneath you. When you embrace a dialogue of equals, you unlock a space of trust and connection. Before every meeting, take a moment to remind yourself I am a professional peer. I'm here to support decision-making. Practice communicating with upright posture, steady eye contact, and confident speech. When writing, avoid overly apologetic or subservient language. Use a clear, concise, and proactive tone instead. The way you define yourself determines how others treat you. If you want respect, first believe you deserve it. But even when you enter the conversation from an equal footing, one factor can still throw the entire exchange off balance: emotional dependence on the outcome. Part 2. Separating desire from dependency. Top salespeople enter meetings with a powerful secret: they don't need the deal. They want it, but they're not dependent on it. And that creates freedom in every word, look, and decision. On the flip side, average sellers carry a detectable energy, the energy of hoping, no matter how skilled. If your mind is dominated by the fear of losing the opportunity, the customer will sense weakness. The magnetic pull in sales doesn't come from trying to close, but from the confidence of not needing to. Dependency creates imbalance from the start. The seller becomes predictable, overly accommodating, always seeking to please. Every word becomes overly cautious, every reaction driven by emotion instead of poise. And customers, being perceptive, will quickly seize control. They'll test more, give vague promises, and often disappear without warning. The price of needing the deal is giving up the power to lead, to change the game. Start by building the mindset. No deal is life or death. When you understand you don't need to win every time, you gain clarity. You won't rush to conclusions, won't force anything, won't lower your standards just to be accepted. This mindset is not a surface act. It must be deeply rooted in how you see yourself and your role. You are someone of value, choosing the right clients to partner with, not begging for approval. Freedom begins with mastering your thoughts. Every opportunity is just one step in a long journey. Instead of counting wins, measure how well you uphold your principles along the way. Make not forcing the sale your baseline, not a rare virtue. Build your own dependency-free zone, where every word comes from inner strength, not anxious gaps. Customers don't choose those who need them. They choose those who make them want to engage. Breaking dependency is just the first step. The real stability in every interaction comes from how much you believe in the value you bring. Part 3. Believing in your own value. When a seller doesn't believe they offer real value, all techniques become meaningless. No one can persuade a customer if they secretly feel like they're bothering or tricking someone into buying. The problem isn't the product. It's how the seller perceives their own role. If you don't truly believe your call is helpful, your tone, words, and attitude will all carry hesitation, and that hesitation is exactly what causes customers to walk away. Internal doubt gradually dulls every interaction into something bland and lifeless. You'll avoid mentioning deep benefits, afraid of sounding boastful. You'll devalue yourself by apologizing before presenting, lowering your voice when discussing price. If the feeling of, "I'm not good enough," takes over, you don't just lose effectiveness. You destroy the emotional connection with the buyer, because buyers always reflect the confidence you emit, even if unspoken. What's needed isn't memorizing sales scripts or catchy intros. It's reaffirming this truth: you are making a difference in someone's life or work. Every conversation, every email, every call is a chance to deliver value to those who need it. When you believe your presence is beneficial, you will speak differently, stand differently, respond differently. That belief isn't arrogance, it's the foundation for transmitting positive energy. And that energy is what ultimately earns the yes. To make confidence your default state, change your environment. Surround yourself with people who believe in their role, those who talk about value, not just revenue. Join groups, communities, or projects where your solution is used and genuinely appreciated. Put yourself in situations that require you to represent that value. Presentations, coaching, mentoring. When you teach others, you stop doubting. You become the living proof. And that belief becomes even more powerful when you realize it's the customer who actually needs your presence. Part 4. The customer needs you. Great salespeople understand one thing clearly. They're not begging for a chance. They're offering a solution the customer truly needs. This need isn't assumed. It's based on a specific understanding of the problem the customer is facing. When you deeply grasp the consequences of the customer not changing, hesitation disappears. The mindset of "I help them overcome obstacles" brings proactive energy. Customers don't buy because you present well. They buy because you address what's been bothering them daily. If you don't internalize this mindset, you'll assume you're a nuisance, and from there, you fall into a weaker position. Even when you're the one holding the answer, customers will sense your hesitation and question your reliability. But when you believe the person in front of you needs your presence, like a doctor believes in the prescription they're writing, you won't be shaken by rejection. Your steadiness comes from deep awareness of the value you bring, not from the desire to be heard. Spend time digging into the customer's problems. Don't just focus on product features. Think about the pain it eases, the consequences it prevents, or the goals it accelerates. When you make that connection, every question you ask and every reaction you give will make the customer feel you get them. And when they feel understood, they trust you. You shift from a seller to someone they seek out. That's where your power begins to show. The buying relationship no longer feels like a transaction, but a meeting of two needs, one seeking a solution, the other committed to real improvement. Part 5. Helping the buyer. There's a fine line between selling and serving. Average sellers try to convince, while great sellers focus on supporting. The mindset "I'm helping the buyer" transforms how you interact. You don't search for clever lines to impress. You seek clarity on the problem. You don't stress over targets, because you know if the value is clear, the decision will come naturally. When customers feel you're on their side, their guard comes down. That's when the exchange becomes genuine and effective. If your focus is only how to get them to buy, you'll become a forced version of yourself. You'll say what you think they want to hear, instead of what they actually need to know. But if you believe you're doing the right thing, there's no need for embellishment. You'll have the courage to point out misfits, the integrity to walk away from the wrong deal. Helping the buyer isn't about pleasing them instantly. It's guiding them to make the right decision long term, even if it means rethinking their whole strategy. To build this mindset, spend less time thinking about closing tactics and more about who benefits after this conversation. Tie yourself to the outcome the customer achieves after working with you. Imagine they call you 6 months later and say, "Thank you for not pushing me that day, but helping me see what I truly needed." That's no longer a transaction. That's a relationship. And real selling only happens when there's a real relationship. Yet ironically, even after creating real value and truly helping the buyer, invisible barriers may still block the path to success. Part 6. Deserving success. Many people do everything right but still can't break through. They learn constantly, execute strategies precisely, meet clients regularly, yet at some point, they stall. Not because of the market or competitors, but because of a deep feeling inside. "I'm not sure I deserve this." This belief doesn't always show, but it fuels self-sabotaging behavior, hesitation, indecisiveness, or choosing the wrong opportunities to avoid facing real success. It keeps them stuck at the starting line. When someone doesn't believe they deserve success, they start creating scenarios to confirm it. They cancel potential meetings because they're not ready. They delay deal closures because they need more time. They begin doubting even their clients, instead of strengthening inner belief. Ironically, when opportunity comes closest, they're the ones who turn away. Then they conclude, "Maybe this isn't meant for me." But the real issue is, they've never allowed themselves to step into the success they're fully capable of reaching. The solution isn't emotional, it's behavioral. By reprogramming confidence, intentionally choose moments that prove progress. Scheduling a meeting, skillfully handling rejection, maintaining pricing integrity. Clearly acknowledge these small wins and see them as proof you're moving toward what you deserve. Change your metrics. Don't just measure revenue. Track your consistency, perseverance, and standards when no one's watching. Those who deserve success don't wait for validation. They create it through daily discipline. And one of the most real-world tests of a success mindset is the ability to walk through uncertainty rejection. Part 7. Accepting rejection as inevitable. Sales is a continuous stream of moments where rejection is possible. Every time you pick up the phone, send an email, or step into a meeting, you open the door to opportunity and simultaneously accept the risk of being turned down. Average salespeople avoid that feeling, so they act less. They delay, hesitate, and only approach those who seem easy. In contrast, exceptional salespeople understand rejection says nothing about personal worth. It's just a natural filter to find the right fit. They don't avoid rejection. They walk through it as part of the process. When you're afraid of rejection, you begin doing everything to avoid the feeling. You send safe messages, say what's easy to hear, and always prepare a soft backup when the client seems uninterested. But the more you do that, the more your message fades, and you gradually lose control. Buyers sense this fear and respond with delays. Rejection itself isn't scary. It's the fear of rejection that blocks you from taking action freely and erodes the quality of every opportunity. Build yourself a high tolerance for rejection. Set a weekly goal for how many times you want to get rejected, not to be hurt, but to build resilience. Create a list of the common negative responses you've received, and rewrite how you would respond calmly and confidently. Once your mind is no longer haunted by rejection, you'll say what needs to be said, ask what needs to be asked, and end things when the time is right. In sales, those who face the most rejection are the ones who unlock the most opportunity. Facing rejection is one thing, but accepting no as a valid outcome is another level of growth in owning the game. Part 8. No is a reasonable outcome. Most sellers fear the word no because they see it as the end of all effort. But the truth is, a clear rejection saves massive amounts of time, energy, and false hope. When you see no as failure, you start avoiding reality. You steer the customer into neutral, vague conversations just to avoid hearing no, and in return, you get a stream of empty promises. A direct no is worth more than 10. I'll think about it. It helps you clean up your pipeline, clarify the relationship, and move forward. To make that possible, you must first accept that no is a completely legitimate choice. When you see it as a potential result, you'll communicate with openness, not defensiveness. Customers feel more comfortable when they're not being pushed into a decision. Instead of pressing for a yes, encourage them to say no if that's the truth. Freedom in sales thinking comes from the ability to walk away from a conversation without pressure, keeping only clarity. That's how you build a pipeline of healthy deals. And to make every choice, every word, and every silence count, you must return to a foundational question: why did you begin in the first place? Part 9. Knowing why you do this. A powerful reason will get you up on the days you don't even want to open your eyes. The truth is, sales is not comfortable. Calling strangers, being rejected constantly, keeping your energy up every day, that's a real challenge. And only those who know they're fighting for something important can make it to the end. Not for KPIs, not for compliments, but for something deeply personal: supporting your family, paying for your child's education, creating a freer life. When your why is clear, every action becomes a step closer to your goal. Weak salespeople give up not because they lack skill, but because they forget what they're fighting for. To stay on track, connect your daily activities to a bigger picture. Put a photo of your child next to your screen. Write a motto on your mirror. Or pick a pump-up song tied to your life goals. Every time you feel like quitting, reconnect with the reason you started. When you sell from the heart's purpose, you don't just have energy, you have a reason to keep going. Why stay stuck when all the tools and opportunities are already laid out? What holds you between the starting line and peak performance? Not enough belief, or self-permission still withheld. Not everyone is willing to face pressure. Rejection, silence, doubt, none of it feels good. But does familiar safety help you go further, or just prolong an average path? The market won't wait. Opportunities don't repeat. In the end, there are only two options: forge a sharp, courageous mindset worthy of influence, or remain behind those who dared to evolve first. Don't wait for inspiration. Act first. Transform after. Step out of obscurity and activate your highest potential in the role you now hold. When your will exceeds your doubts, your ability will naturally expand. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.